Hey guys, Mr. Overon here with Mr. Overon's Tarot Reading Services, and today I wanted to talk to you about fetishes or religious statuary. In witchcraft, a fetish is something that is created to look like someone or something. It is not the sexual fetish, just to clear that up. In my world, I utilize religious statuary or fetishes in all aspects. I create puppets, which I've done videos on before. I create voodoo dolls, which I've also done a video on in the past. But, these little statuaries are amazing presences. You can utilize them for wealth, prosperity, love, protection. Doesn't matter what it is. In my world, I use gargoyles quite a bit. I am like an avid gargoyle collector. I absolutely love them. They are the coolest little critters. I have them set up everywhere in my house. I have a 3.5 foot tall gargoyle in my bedroom. I have them on my television, in my kitchen, in my dining room, in my office, on my desk. I just have them everywhere. So, for those of you who don't know what a gargoyle is or what a gargoyle does, a gargoyle is typically it's a stone sculpture of a demon or an imp or something kind of scary, and the symbology behind that was that if humans were supposed to be able to create something so horrific or scary that the demons or spirits or low-level energies would not bother that dwelling. So you see gargoyles on churches and on buildings. They're all over Europe, and sometimes you will even find them here in America, like on top of large buildings. Sometimes they're rain spouts. Sometimes they just adorn buildings for whatever reason. So I'll show you a couple of the little gargoyles that I have, but this is one of my little dudes. He's a little winged guy, kind of looks like a grumpy puppy with wings, but there's what is it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 that I keep on my desk, and these are my little desktop guardians. Here's this other little dude. I call him my little thinker. And then I also have this guy here. He's just kind of broody, just kind of hangs out. He's a little whitewashed right now. Let me see if I could get that a little bit better. There you go. So, I'm not going to go through all of them. Just to give you kind of an idea. They come in all shapes, sizes, and characteristics. In my practice of the craft and what have you, I put a lot of energy into these beings, and they do give off a lot of energy themselves. Each one has its own little persona, and in the craft, at least the way that I practice things, is I give a life force to everything, because just because it's stationary and we don't see it moving or as alive, on a molecular subatomic level, those atoms and neurons and all that other stuff, they're moving. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist like that. But each one of these little guys, they have a life force and kind of have that their own little personalities or whatever. So I've gone through and I've named them all, and I've empowered them with my own energies, as well as just kind of let them tell me what their energy is. So, this little guy right here, for example, the energy and the power that I get from him is kind of like I'm poised and I'm ready. What do I gotta do? So I get a very guardian energy off of him. He's just spreading his wings like I'm ready for this. Now, my little thinking dude, I use him whenever I have a lot of questions or I just can't seem to find the answers to those things. And so the energy that I get from this guy is like he's always in deep thought and meditation, and that's the energy that he pulls or puts off. So if there's a time when I need help with just tapping into that energy, or I need to find an answer to something, I'll write a little note down on like a post-it note and have him sit on top of it and let him mull it over. And a lot of times, be it synchronicity or what, the message will come to me that this is the answer that I was looking for. So yeah, each one of these little guys have their own little personalities, their own little energies. In the past, I've had entire altars developed or created just for a specific gargoyle. My very first gargoyle I received when I was 14, and my sister gave him to me. And he just had such an amazing energy, and I fell in love with this little dude. And that was my baby. So I used to keep candles burning around him. I would put little candies next to him. And during this time period of my life, I was really heavy into dark magic, doing a lot of stupid shit that I shouldn't have been doing. I know for a 14-year-old that sounds like, wait, what do you mean you were doing stuff like that? But I was really into Satanism and black magic and using curses and hexes and just summoning up spirits for malicious intent and stuff like that. So even though I was personally like that, my little gargoyle, I felt, still protected me from those energies when I wasn't utilizing those. And so still to this day, I have a vast collection of gargoyles, and I call them my little rookery. In gargoyles, myth and legends, a rookery would be like a clutch, like a hatchling, or a bunch of gargoyles that had hatched together. So I have my little rookery. I have them, like I said, everywhere in my bedroom, on my bookshelves, television in the living room, in the kitchen. So I just feel like my little rookery helps keep me protected, and each one does something different. Now, for other works, like religious works using for religious icons and things like that, that's where religious statuary comes in. And this is Bast, the goddess of feline energies in Egyptian magic. And I am a cat person. I love cats. Don't get me wrong, I love my dogs too. I love being rough housing with dogs and playing around with them and the loyalty and the companionship that they show. But it just only seems to me like I have more feline energy in my world, and cats just seem to be attracted to me, and I have like a really good rapport with them. So Bast is one of my favorite of the Egyptian gods and goddesses. The other god that I really love is Anubis, who is the god of the underworld and stuff like that. But, you know, these little religious icons and statuaries, you can pick them up everywhere. I actually was blessed and found Bast at a thrift store. Goodwill, to be exact. When I got her home, I blessed her, cleansed her, consecrated her, and just fed her my good positive intentions. And when I showed it to my cat freaked out, and she like started rubbing all over it, like, oh, you know. So she put her energy into it, I feel, and it was like, oh, okay, well, welcome to the home. Here's your spot in my home. I keep her on my desk where the sun comes in, because cats love sunlight and they just love, just basking in the light. So I thought, this is going to be a great place for her to be right there in the direct sun, and every morning she absorbs all that wonderful sunlight. And with her also being gold, the mindset is that at night she illuminates that energy, and because she's a cat, she hunts the negative energies in my home. Now, I know that's not necessarily something that the goddess Bast would normally do, or even a way to use her in Egyptian magic or Egyptian folk magic, but in my world, that's how I use her. And I offer her little offerings whenever my cat happens to come by and is pawing at me for attention. I always pick up the statue and let her rub her loving energy all over that. The next thing that I also have is I have little goddesses everywhere. This is one of my little goddess statues. She's got the sacred spiral where her womb would be, and is in moon pose. And I absolutely love the goddess energy that comes off this little statue. I have I have another little statue like this on my working altar in my dining room. And I have another one hanging up in my living room that was handmade out of clay. And these just happen to come to me. This particular style always seems to make its way into my life. And so I use it as a visual representation of the goddess. And that's how I connect with it. And I just feel like it brings that divine feminine energy into my household, that it helps me remember that even though I may be feeling alone at the time, the goddess is there for me. And if I am having a really hard time, I can focus on the statuary and just put all my intents and thoughts into her, like, Blessed Goddess Mother Divine, hear this prayer of mine. I'm going through a really tough time right now, and I just need your guidance and your blessings. Please ease the burden that has been placed upon me. Help me to learn the lessons that are there for me to learn, and help me to just continue to be positive and move forward in positivity with love and light in my heart. Help me to learn those lessons that I need to learn, as well as to see the positive within the negative. As so above, as so below, so shall it be. And, that is just energy that I put into that for, and, I have little goddess icons everywhere. This is a 3D printed one that I had made for me at my local library. I just found out that our local library can do 3D printing, so I was like, way cool, and this was the very first thing that I had printed out. It could be like a little keychain, but I liked it so much that I just keep it right here on my desk with my gargoyles. So, magic is what you make it. You don't have to follow any specific terms or rules or whatever. There are times where you do, but for the most part, when it comes to iconography or religious statuary or fetishes or whatever, it's the intent that you put into it or the energy that you're feeling coming from it. So, if you find a little statue at, say, Goodwill or something, it doesn't necessarily have to be witchcraft related. It could be a precious moment statue, but the imagery of that precious moment statuary, if that stirs something inside you and makes you feel a certain way, you can use that statue for your daily practice or your devotionals or for whatever you want it to work with. It's the connection that you have between yourself and that item. So if that connection's there, why not use it? Doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything, just find something that makes you happy, that gives you that connection to higher power, to spirit, to God, to God, the Lord, Lady, whatever you want to call it. As long as it gives you that kind of joyfulness in your heart, and you can just connect with it on that level, then work with it. Um, it's all about repurposing magic and making magic work for you. So that is my little video for now. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please put them in the comment section down below. If you would like to talk to me privately, you can send me an email. It's mroveron@gmail.com. And if you would like a tarot reading, by all means, visit me. You can request a tarot reading through the email mroveron@gmail.com, or you can go to the website www.mroveron.com and do readings there. And yeah, so if you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button and hit the little bell icon so you are notified whenever I update. And I will talk to you all later. Bye, witches!